So the new season kicks off on Friday evening when Arsenal visit the Brentford Community Stadium for the first time ever, Brentford's first ever game in the Premier League. It's going to be exciting. 9 months of ups and downs, no doubt. This is the Brentford versus Arsenal match preview. Hello, my name is Richard. Welcome back to my channel over and over and over again, which features everything to do with Arsenal. As I said there, this is going to be a preview of the opening match of the season here at the Brentford Community Stadium on Friday evening. I'm going to look at a little bit of history of Brentford. Obviously, they've not been in the top flight of English football for a very long time. We're going to look at the past meetings between the sides. Again, most of them were quite a long time ago as well. We're going to look at the current form of both teams coming into this opening game of the season. And also, of course, we're going to go through the lineup and a score prediction. But before I get into all that, I'd just like to make sure that you have subscribed to the channel. If you do enjoy what I do, please click on the subscribe button. It does help the channel to grow and reach a larger audience. Also, as well, if you enjoy this video, please give it a like. Those two things together really do help the channel to grow. And if you've got any comments at all to make about this game, what would your lineup be? What's your score prediction? How do you think the season is going to go? I think it's vital that we start well, but we'll come on to that a little bit later. So please drop your comments in the box. I do love to hear from you guys as well. So Brentford then, they were formed in October 1889, so they're nearly 132 years old. They spent most of that time in the lower divisions, and their most successful period in the club's history, similar to Arsenal's actually, was in the 1930s. They got promoted from Division 3 South in 1933 and then won the Division 2 title in 1935 to get promoted to the First Division for the first time in their history. The first season they had in the First Division turned out to be their highest ever place, and they finished 5th. And then they followed that up with 2 sixth-place finishes as well. So for a few years there in the 1930s, they were regular top 6 finishers. After World War II, things didn't go so well. The first season back, 1946-47, saw Brentford get relegated back to Division 2. And unfortunately, it's taken them 74 years to come back to the top flight, of course, having won the playoffs at the end of last season. They do have a record actually in Football League, which still stands today. In 1929-30 in Division 3 South, they did win all 21 home matches in the league, which has never been equalled since. Wasn't quite enough to get them promoted though, because they did finish 2nd that year. Although, as I said, it wasn't long before they actually got themselves into the First Division. So we've not had much of a history of playing Brentford. They've generally not been in the same division as us. And we've only actually met them 13 times previously. Only 10 of those were in the league. In the league matches, out of those 10 games, we've only won 2. We've drawn 4 and lost 4. We haven't met in the league actually since May 1947. That was at Griffin Park, and Arsenal won that game 1-0 with a goal from Paddy Sloan. And that is actually the only time that Arsenal have won away at Brentford, and that's in 6 previous visits. Of course, the most recent meeting between the sides was in October 2018 in the League Cup at the Emirates. Arsenal, of course, won 3-1. That was 2 goals from Danny Welbeck and 1 from Alexander Lacazette. But I say it's been 74 years since we last played in the league. In fact, the only other victory that we've had against Brentford in the league was quite a famous game that was played at Highbury in May 1939. It was the last game of the season, and that game actually formed the action shots from the movie The Arsenal Stadium Mystery, which was being filmed at Highbury at that time, and that's the only time Arsenal beat Brentford at Highbury. That was a 2-0 victory. I say that's one of only 2 victories that we've had against the Bees. We are unbeaten in our last 4 meetings against Brentford. That's 3 in the league and 1 in the League Cup, as I mentioned. And our last defeat against Brentford came at Griffin Park in September 1938, and that was a 1-0 defeat. So Brentford's form then, they'll be buzzing coming into this game. They're actually unbeaten in their last 12 league games. That goes back to a 1-0 defeat at Norwich in March. Although they did lose the first leg of the playoffs away at Bournemouth in May, that was also a 1-0 defeat. They've had a decent pre-season, Brentford, as well, actually. They've won 4 of their 6 games, and that does include a 2-2 draw away at Old Trafford. Only 1 defeat in pre-season for them. That was at home to West Ham. And their most recent friendly at the weekend saw them come from behind to beat Valencia 2-1. So they're in good form at the end of last season. They've got a little bit of momentum going. So that is Brentford's form. So quite similar, really. We finished last season pretty well, didn't we? We were unbeaten in our last 6 games in all competitions. That was 5 wins and a draw. The draw, of course, came in the second leg of the semi-final of the Europa League against Villarreal at the Emirates, when, of course, we needed to win to get through to the final. But we did finish with 5 straight victories in the league, which helped our league position to 8th place. We haven't had a great pre-season, have we? 6 games, only 2 wins and 3 defeats. The last 2, of course, against Chelsea and Tottenham, really disappointing performances as well. So we're not coming into the season in the best of form, are we? So that's a little bit of a concern. I don't think there's going to be too many changes from the Tottenham game, if I'm totally honest, when you consider who's fit and available. And I don't think we've finished our transfer business yet. But anyone that we do buy now, of course, won't be in the squad for Friday. So I think we're going to line up like this. I think it'll be Bernd Leno in goal. I think it'll be a back 4. The right back positions may be up for grabs, isn't it? You've got Cedric Bellerin and Callum Chambers who could play there. I think he'll go with Bellerin, if I'm totally honest. I think the centre backs, again, not a lot of options with injuries and stuff. So I think it's going to be Ben White and Pablo Mari. And of course, left back will be Kieran Tierney. I think the 2 in midfield, of course, with Thomas Partey out, it's just going to be a choice between Lokonga and El Neni. I've got a feeling, and I'm a bit worried about that. I think Mikel Arteta may well go for El Neni just for his more experience in the Premier League and what's going to be a very hostile atmosphere. And obviously, Xhaka will be the partner there. And in the front 4, I don't think there'll be any changes at all from the Tottenham game. I think Smith Rowe will be in the number 10. I think Pepe will be over on the right-hand side. I think Aubameyang will play down the left and Lacazette through the middle. I don't think Bukayo Saka is going to be quite ready to start this game. He's only been in training a week or so, hasn't he? And he's only played those few minutes against Tottenham. So I don't think he's quite ready yet to be thrown in from the start. I assume he'll be on the bench and maybe come on to have an impact later in the game if necessary. But that's the lineup I'm expecting. It's not really what I would choose myself. There's a few players there. Pablo Mari worries me, but what other choice have we got? Maybe throwing Callum Chambers in centre-back could be an option. Obviously, in midfield, I would go with Lokonga, give him a chance, throw him in. He's looked good in pre-season. Why not throw him into this game? It's a sink or swim situation, isn't it? I remember when Patrick Vieira joined, he got thrown straight in, and what an impact he makes. So let's see what choice he makes there. We don't have a lot of options up front, do we? Maybe Aubameyang will be more effective through the middle. And then it does leave us who would play on the left-hand side, because I say Bukayo Saka's not fit. Martinelli's only just back from the Olympics. So we have got a few issues, haven't we? This is why we need to spend a bit more money in the transfer market, don't we? But we have to get players out first. But that's the lineup I'm expecting. So predicting a score then, very difficult, isn't it? The first game of the season, you're never really sure how things are going to work out. Watching us in pre-season hasn't filled me with a lot of confidence. Brentford have got a solid team. They obviously finished last season on a high, and they've looked fairly decent with their pre-season results as well. Obviously a Friday night game under the lights, a big crowd in. First time they've had a crowd here in this stadium for a league match, their first ever game in the Premier League. Everything's in their favour, isn't it? It's going to be a really tough night for Arsenal. It's a case of us having to really dig in and try to get the result that we need, but it is going to be a tough game. I'm not going to predict a win, unfortunately. I just don't think we're going to be able to pull it off, but I am going to predict the final score here at the Brentford Community Stadium. Brentford 1, Arsenal 1. So couldn't be more difficult start, could it, playing here on Friday? One of the most difficult fixtures that we could have had, isn't it? If we'd been at home, I would have been a lot more confident. But away here, their first ever game in the Premier League, as I said, it is going to be a really tough night for us. And I think it's important that we do start the season well. We need to put in a good performance, and hopefully we can get a positive result and to take into the next 2 games, which are, as we know, extremely difficult at home to Chelsea and away to Manchester City. So this is an important game. We don't really want to start the season with 3 defeats in a row, do we? Because that's going to really put the pressure on Mikel Arteta. There's going to be absolute meltdowns on Twitter, and that's not going to be an ideal situation, is it? So this is an important game that we come out of it with something. Of course, a victory would be great, and I say I'm not 100% certain that we may be in the right form at the moment to get that result, but we'll see. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be a good game, isn't it? So but let's hope that we can start the season in a positive way. So there's my preview of Friday night's Premier League opening game here at the Brentford Community Stadium against the Bees. going to be exciting, isn't it? Stay tuned to the channel because I've got a lot of good stuff coming up. I will be doing, of course, a watch along of this game on Friday. It's an 8 o'clock kickoff. I'll probably go live about 7:45 with all the team news and then full match commentary and analysis. And then over the weekend, I will put out a review of the game, looking back on the highs and the lows, the positives and the negatives. Hopefully a lot more positives to talk about. That would be good, wouldn't it? But we'll see how it all goes. So stay tuned to the channel. If you haven't done so already, please click the subscribe button. It is free of charge. It does help the channel to grow and reach a larger audience. If you have enjoyed this preview, please give it a like as well. And if you've got any comments at all about this game, what your team lineup would be, what your score prediction is, how you think the season is going to go, anything like that, please drop them in the box. It is great to hear from you guys. I will try to reply to as many of you as I can. Thanks for your support of the channel. Thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed the recent shows that we did, the Tuesday Club of Course last night, the interview I did with John Purdy on Monday. If you missed that, please check that out. Really, really good interview. Great guy John Purdy is, and he's got a book out as well. So please check that out as well. And I say thanks for your support of the channel. Thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe. And of course, in the meantime, going into this massive game, isn't it? The first game of the season. It's always an exciting time. Let's hope it's a good game. Stay tuned for the watch along. Come on, you Gunners.